into if I were Gen.G, but if you leave multiple open, then maybe Rula gets the Varus, right? So Talia's banned right away because Faker's like, well, I am hoping you're going to play that game with me. And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe that happens and Chovy doesn't have the Talia to answer. And it was matched.
Yeah. Matching bans and Faker ban, Chovy ban as well. Just feels like we're not going to allow those players to play that. No Yone either. Just not going to happen. Sejuani sees play occasionally, usually only with Yone nowadays.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty smart ban. There's a lot of comps that work well with this. The most open-ended thing in these drafts to me is the AD carry pools, because we had the Yunara, right, the Jhin, Sivir, and Lucian, so there's a lot of scaling carries left. The Varus, I think, becomes so high prio as a result of this. And the possibility of that first pick Neeko rises, I think, significantly in this moment where Pantheon is just a required ban. If they leave this up to trade for Neeko, I'm not sure if that's really going to be equivalent value. And I wonder what else they would consider here.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like you have to. I think they were just trying to mess with the order, maybe to keep them guessing. But especially with that Alistar ban, this feels like a done deal with the Neeko coming through. That seemed very obvious.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of your read from the start when you and I were talking about this earlier, and it just comes true. Seems very, very powerful here for T1. The Corki feels nice here because it's quite a lane-dominant pick, and Valkyrie gives you a lot of outplay potential in the lane itself, but it's just a safe pick in general, and also weakens some of the other AD carries that are left available because they're all pretty immobile. And he is given the nod. He's going to get locked in. Jungle pick, a little bit tricky at this point in time. I think you want something that has really strong mid-jungle synergy.
Yeah, it feels like some of the prio picks definitely going away. The Vi is still available, so that one...
It's kind of feeling like when you have Corki to follow up on anyone who's CC'd like so easily from so far away with tons of bursts, like you go Vi Ahri, feels good. Nocturne with no Orianna, no Aurora.
Remember when Nocturne Neeko was just absolutely disgusting? And now we've got a Silence alongside of this. Just blind against the Vi ult.
Yeah, that's... So now you have basically Neeko, Nocturne, Vi. That's crazy. Nice. Try to Valkyrie this. I do think that it's still a viable Ahri angle here for Chovy if he's bold enough to play it. Annie is gone. Annie would also feel pretty amazing here in this situation. Instead, just going to look for the Duro Nautilus lock-in. This keeps things really open-ended because let's not forget that with the Sylas lock here, Chovy could play Corki mid. It's not common, it's not meta, but it's certainly something that he has insane mastery of.
That's a good point.
And like now you're really kind of wondering like, what are they going to play with Nautilus bottom lane into our Neeko? That's a tough matchup, but will it be the Corki? Probably. And it makes you wonder if maybe like something like a Smolder could come through for Chovy. I mean, there's so many different ways that Gen.G can play this draft now. And I think the Caitlyn ban is very intelligent into Guma here.
Yeah. Zion's still available as well. Could be another thing they look at in terms of comfort for Guma. Yes, Rakan is gone, but Guma can just play it by himself, especially into Nautilus and Vi. So
you can play like almost anything here. I do love this Twisted Fate ban. Can help deal with the Nocturne. What if Guma ends up playing like Jinx here? I think you have so many different ways to get that initial reset. If you have the lockdown to come through, that could certainly be something you opt for. Because the Xayah ban feels too obvious. Like, I think that will definitely come through. Unless they have something else in mind. Like a safe top pick for Doran. It's an MF.
I mean, in terms of Wombo, with the Neeko, I guess so. But certainly feels a little bit weak into Vi Nautilus. But if they can't get on the MF, then I suppose you could get some decent value. But an interesting angle there.
I don't think it's going to be like a Smolder mid-pick, but it's a curveball that could be thrown here by Gen.G. The most obvious one feels like Ahri, right? But it's not a ton of consistent damage in this comp just yet. The Corki will be when it gets to the later stages. The Renekton ends up getting taken away since so much of the power budget is going to be bottom side here for T1 with this, whatever is with this Nico, frankly. Will likely win the lane into Nautilus and Corki. Again, assuming that's not a flex. Chovy discussing a lot here, though.
Yeah.
Before the lock-in.
Could be about what you were just talking about with the flex. And they're going to keep it up in the air with the Yorick lock-in here. So, the flex Corki.
I mean, you really could still just run, you know, first strike Corki. It's not great setup with the Vi, but with this Yorick coming through, playing around sides a little bit here, going to be kind of tricky into Nocturne Sylas.
Aatrox.
That seems like the best bet. Jax, a similar story. And we have seen Aurelia attempted in this matchup as well, but I do think this is something that's a lot safer. And when you have something like a Jax that gets empowered, like if you start to win that side and you have a Nocturne and Nico as well to follow, you just can't stop Doran. He's just going to demolish the whole map. Let's see what that 80 carry is going to be. It's been hidden from us for so long here in this one.
It's got to go with the Nico. Xayah is what he's saying.
Yeah, it seems like it's a Xayah lock. It just seems too free, especially when the Yorick is shown like this. And you have like so many ways to get on top of the enemy champions to give you, like you don't have a distance problem here in this game. You have safety and the enemy comp is also relatively low range. Like Corki rockets aren't really going to be a problem for you. So are we going for hard all in to try to match? Or are we going for scaling? Is he going to pull out the AP Ziggs?
All right, the Ziggs is going bot, you would have to imagine, 100%
right? 100% of Xayah, so that Corki flex does come through. We think we've seen a little bit more Ziggs with the buffs in mid lane. It's been played in other regions. They're holding
like,
it's pretty good into Sylas as well.
Into Sylas, yeah.
I mean, you just sit there, you poke, you harass. But ultimately, I think the Corki is safer. We'll see if he wants to go first strike and just try to generate a gold lead there, or if he's going to opt for something a little bit more damage focused. Because accelerating yourself to 2 items, we see so many Corkis in the melee matchups in mid just going straight into first strike and trying to hit 2 items as soon as possible to be incredibly relevant towards the mid game. Wow, this draft I feel like went 4D chess on both sides. There was certainly a lot of, like almost every pick went down to like the last 5 seconds before the lock-in, you know? And I think of the 3 drafts, I find this one to be the closest, Valdez. I think it's got a lot of power for the T1 side and comfort, but a lot of finesse, and if played perfectly, I kind of feel like Gen.G can outdo T1. I'm scared mostly about that Jax Nocturne side lane. That just feels like if that starts to get out of control, T1 could do whatever they want.
Yeah, it does very much feel in their wheelhouse, and we got Ruler playing Ziggs, which is very interesting. Was never really a big Ziggs guy, but we'll see how it goes here as we hop on the Rift for game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Game number 3, this historic matchup. The second of 3 times we're going to see it here in the Legend group. Next time will be, mark it on your calendars, I'm taking a look here, match 47 on August 30th. So, there you go.
About 3 weeks' time.
Did I say 47 or? It was 147. Oh, over the wall. Here's Faker. Sylas very good at level 1, but he's kind of alone at this point in time. Doran does move up, and he will be okay.
Got keen to skill a donut at level 1.
Yep. Ghoulie wall.
Yeah, it's crazy because what? MSI 2 matchups, no interaction at LCK Cup and EWC means this is right now the 7th matchup they've played, right? 2 in regular season at the beginning, then 3 here. Oh, 4. Okay, well, anyway, no math on stream. Canyon?
Timing of this is really rough for Canyon. Doran going to receive an emote from Canyon, who now is going to go towards the blue side of his... Oh no, he's looping back, actually.
Yeah, just going to take a later start on this one. The ward he has seen, so we'll be able to path around it.
Got him.
Fully walled!
Nice, Keen. Also trading grasp stacks.
Surprisingly tricky to hit that sometimes, a Ghoulie Wall. And you really got to know when they're going to go in for that auto.
Yeah, the delay is can be rough at times. Scary as Nico. Got banned out twice by Gen.G from blue side.
And Keen's making Ghoulie Wall look like it's the Gragas boop to Jax in this one. Gonna counter-strike me? Not quite. How do you like this hula hoop?
Yeah, I mean, Keen's Yorick very strong. Doran's Yorick also insane.
This is one of those picks, by the way, for Owner, where over the years you'd be like, oh yeah, he does occasionally play that. You know, he pulls it out from time to time, and now it's super meta, but he just keeps stacking up those niche Nocturne wins, and now that it's super meta, you're like, wow, yeah, he does have an over 90% win rate on that champ. That's kind of crazy.
Canyon? You're level 2.
And you are at half health.
Yeah, the Nocturne started on the blue side. We're getting a big zoom in here from Jonah Strong as our Vibe player Canyon's going to realize, hey, I should probably do my Raptors.
Well, he knows he'll be seen, of course, on this ward. Owner's just chilling. As another Ghoulie Wall. He'll get at least a push deck this time. Looking like a little bit of a lost Polar Bear in this one. In this early game, as he has half the farm of Owner. Canyon, that is.
Oh, I was going to say, like, wait, why is Doran a polar bear?
No. Going back to the jungle situation here, where he has been thoroughly shut down, let's say, slowed down.
Ooh, the Valkyrie value here from Chovy.
He went Conqueror, and he is trying to conquer this 1v1. Out of mana now, though.
You remember when Silas was more meta, we used to see Corki into it very often. So I'm really glad that you called out the swap early, because I think for Chovy especially, it's just so obvious. Trying to get in here, and ooh, Canyon gets his blue buff stolen away.
I mean, he is really far behind. Like, I don't think we can really overstate a 4-minute 300 gold lead. Flashing the root.
Yeah. Gonna get that summoner out of him at least. Really trying to help Faker get through this early laning phase in the melee versus range matchup.
Just feel like when you pick the Sylas in this situation that it's so good for your comp, right? And you're so happy to just lock that, as we do have a lane swap here. Will be the TP to match here to come down. In fact, from Ruler. So we're playing into the Jax, but this is good for the Xayah. Obviously, she doesn't want to lean into Ziggs. But yeah, this opportunity that Chovy has to just kind of say, no, I'm actually going to get an advantage here. Feels pretty good. Now, Faker already TP'd, Chovy did not, so that looked kind of wonky there as Chovy's out of mana, but he is just going to go back. Bit of a bait here, potentially, from Ruler.
Yeah. Oh, that was sick. The aggressive one going to work out on Doran. And those are the moments where you can use your satchel aggressively and feel fine. Later on, into Nocturne Silas Jax, you're definitely going to want to try to save yourself rather than what we saw there. Little roots coming down, so similar amount of damage done by Guma and Keria to their top laner.
Problem is that Ruler's going to be hitting a turret as Ziggs, which feels quite powerful versus, you know, Xayah's decent. He's actually just going to be continuing to chip away at Doran. Going to have to counter-strike. Whew, that satchel also dangerously close.
And Doran can't really stay here. He's trying to farm, but he doesn't really have an angle. Keen, on the other hand, kind of similar, but obviously in a little bit better of a position. Nice damage here from Keria. Gonna chip him just a little bit lower, but the amount of potential they have to kill this Yorick feels a little bit less than what we saw in the bottom lane.
Chovy teleporting back to lane also has an advantage there as Owner.
All right, trying to get on top of the Ziggs, and I think they might just be able to do it. The flash ahead of time is going to work out. First blood given over to Doran's Jax. He does immediately get traded back, but that kill only went over to Duro.
Canyon down 2 levels. He's giving him the scared Yumi, like, I don't really want to stay around here much longer. Valdez, this game is getting wild.
It's already happening. I really love that response from Owner to flash early, knowing that Ruler, his only choice is to just flash away. So, well played by him.
The trade of kills feeling pretty good for Doran. Obviously picking up a kill, has a call in his inventory. Kill going over to Duro in return is good that they got it, but obviously not as impactful. And there's still a big hole in the jungle as Canyon is trying to find anything. Like he's scraping the bark off the trees to chew on it because he's starving so bad.
Yeah.
He is like, I need XP, I need money, I need anything. As this play here, like the back is being channeled by Owner. By the way, it's a control ward, but he can just fly over it. And the placement of the satchel and the near escape here, I mean, I call it a near escape, it really isn't, but like I don't think that could have been played better by Ruler on the attempted escape, let's say. Was cool and all, but got him.
Yeah, got him. Just got to respect the Nocturne, you know? I think that's the biggest thing there. Like, they have a Jax kind of pinned under the turret, but he's about to hit level 6, and you've got a Nocturne who's also about to hit level 6. Kind of funny that they hit 6 at basically around the same time. Like, I would assume that Owner got it on the Krugs before he went to that gank. So maybe they didn't expect the Nocturne to be that far ahead, or rather Doran to be that far behind, but ends up being the death of Ruler.
Yeah, if you're looking at Canyon's XP bar as the judge, you're certainly not going to think he's level 6 right now.
Yeah.
As Owner's like, oh, you still
boy.
seem to not be level 6, by the way. And these seem to be my Krugs.
This is like some peanut level of just crazy, I want to take everything away from you. Owner, did he go too far is the question. The bomb is going to miss, and it looks like he absolutely did. Duro's going to get the kill. I don't know how he always does this. Duro getting fed, and Ruler probably very angry. Meanwhile, Canyon, congrats to him. LCK Jungle second ever to get 4,500 assists.
It always happens in a game like this, doesn't it? His first assist of the game, by the way.
Yeah. As he's getting absolutely just run around the map here.
I feel like it always comes up when the player on the team that hits a milestone just gets blasted in a team fight, but like traded back 1 kill, or like it's like, oh,
like died in the turret, got the kill.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, 1,500 kills. Congrats.
Exactly. It's like always like that. I think at some point maybe a discussion needs to be had about like, do we have too many milestones that we can talk about in the LCK? But Canyon, it's a big one here, and we will respect it. And he has level 6 now, which I think right now he's probably feeling is the bigger milestone in his career in this best of 3. Finally compress his ult button. When you look at where the gold is, it's very strong top side here for T1. Bottom side is where the favor is for Gen.G, and Guma's going to get some more money to even that out, in fact, take a lead himself. This fight's going to get a little scrappy on Dragon. Or maybe, no, it won't. I just wanted to do the play-by-play handoff just in case. And over to you, Valdez.
Yeah, take it away, Valdez. Well, they got the Dragon. They absolutely did. They got it real good. So the Ziggs, very good pick into the Xayah. I mentioned it before, Ruler not the most prolific Ziggs player of all time. Guma, he is Xayah with Featherstorm and Flash, so there's the Flash, and there's the Featherstorm, but now we've got the pull on in, and he's just dead. Meanwhile, got a Nocturne trying to save, and a TP coming in here. As now the ultimate does go in, stolen ultimate here from the side of Faker, and Duro looks to be very much dead. Keria wants a bit more. Gonna get this route down onto Chovy, who takes a bunch of damage, but they know they don't have the kill pressure. Ruler comes out of nowhere. He just stayed there in the top side. Oh, the flash aggressive satchel is crazy into the wall, and he immediately dies. But it was awesome.
Yeah, Keen here, just gonna be farming this one out. Nothing crazy happening on the cross map, but that was a wild set of plays, because like Ruler decided he was going to channel back. He had TP, so maybe if the fight went longer, he was hoping to come in there and actually look for a re-engage or to rejoin the fight. Looked like that TP scared me for a moment, like, oh, we're going to have a real fight. Canyon says, hell no, I'm out of here, by the way. I'm happy with 1. And like, Ruler decides to join the fight instead of fully backing there, which gives them the opportunity, and then Faker with a really cool re-engage himself. Like, it was just one of those scrappy fights where it ends up being a relatively even exchange. Owner will get 2 of these 3 grubs, which feels fantastic when you have the Jax Nocturne in a game like this. Critically, by the way, look at how Duro plays this. Sets up the route after the flash, exhaust goes down, ult comes through here for Guma, and then gets the dredge, so doesn't have to ult at all in this situation, and can then use it later on for this fight they're looking for. So Ruler's kind of hanging out over here unseen, and Chovy and Canyon are coming up. And Gen.G kind of make this decision like, maybe we can actually win a fight here. As Duro sacrifices himself, Ruler decides to unchannel the back, and then it's the ult onto Faker here from Canyon. Ruler shows up, and they're like, ooh, better get out of here. Faker flashes and gets stunned to the wall, then perfectly places his chains to take Ruler out. So it ends up being a relatively favorable trade there for T1, but still, I'd say about dead even as this game state is as well.
Yeah. It just feels like it could go either way at this point. Chovy getting pretty fed himself. He is the most fed member in the game. He's 1-0. He is Chovying very nicely here. 124 CS in 12 minutes with a decent amount of action that he has been a part of. Just picked up his Trinity Force. And meanwhile, Faker on the other side kind of just getting by, you know?
Well, I mean, he's got a dash cannon, which
he does.
I'm happy to see because we've been seeing so much Rod Silas, and I just don't know if it's, especially with the game, not the game state more so, but the composition like this, you kind of just don't want to be going, aha, I hit level 15 now, and I'm going to be closer to 16. I think you really want to just try to hone in on every possible engage angle you can. Against a, you know, relatively quick-moving comp like the Corki, it's hard to lock down. I like Dash Cannon here, but yeah, it's not as impactful in terms of damage and immediate value as that Triforce will be. Obviously situational.
Mm-hmm. A little lull in the action. We had so much weird action. Oh. Very close.
Sometime bomb too short.
Yeah. Ziggs needs to hit the gym, I think. A little bit of pressure up here on the top side. Big wave, but not really capitalized on.
Owner has ult, and they, I believe, actually did see him start up that blue buff, so they're kind of like, I don't really want to hit a turret. I'll let the minions do that, and we'll hang out. Like, Canyon's also shadowing up there, so if they went for it, if he disengaged there, maybe they could turn. Ruler is getting some value into this Xayah, but I feel like he hasn't really threatened him or really put him down in any way. As we have a bit of that skirmish I was talking about eventuating now.
Yeah, trying to get in on the Yorick, and that should be enough, but guess who's here? Canyon for the turn, and he is going to make the play happen. Keen extremely low, but continuing on the play. Owner wants a bit more, and he'll get killed instead. Canyon just takes him down, and Canyon immediately gets his revenge.
And that's the kind of play I was talking about. You know, Canyon's coming up there. And it's also one of those things Chronicler mentioned is, ooh, Guma.
Uh-oh. Yep, Featherstorm response.
Good answer.
Not a fun time into the Ziggs.
But it's kind of like what Chronicler was talking about earlier. These teams know each other so well, but Gen.G just has such a great read on T1. They're like, I think Nocturne's looking for this. Let's sneak Canyon up there. We got the stacked wave on the top turret. And as ships pass in the night, TP escape from Keen. But like plays like that are so premedicated based on the fact that you know the tendency, right? And you know that Keen is like up here going, better do something about this with your global Nocturne because I'm gonna win the side lane and you don't want that. And then Canyon's just in the bush and boom, spring a trap.
Yeah. Gen.G taking the Infernal Drake in live. Looks like they should get it without much of a hitch.
I mean, this is a very tense series here for Gen.G. They came in as relative favorites, I would say. It was pretty close to the Preds, but this series has not been as one-sided as a lot of Gen.G Predators thought it would be, even though they lost the last series to T1. It has been a real struggle, and this game was so on a knife's edge, but now Gen.G are taking a real significant lead here. Stolen Nautilus ult, going to delay the turret take.
Yeah, for just about a second, or as long as the Nautilus ult actually lasted. But they did not stop attacking the turret after that.
That's 2 turrets for Gen.G here. Beats his strength in the bag.
Yeah,
old lead starting to balloon. T1 need to play through this Jax somehow, but that last 2v2 did not go their way. And that was where they were strongest, right? Their top and jungle was the lead they had. They no longer have that.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a sticking point for them. Definitely want to get Owner and Doran ahead, and that's going to be the satchel to take down mid-turret. So you said 2, but it's actually 3 in pretty quick succession. Faker's like, maybe I can do... No, I can't. Chovy gets here. He's just going to kind of run in here up against Doran. There is a little disengaged cone in the Ghoulie wall. And Keen says, I don't need that cone.
Yeah, with Doran nearby, I think he's very happy to continue to play here. And honestly, if they get the Nocturne ult out, it feels kind of like a win after getting 3 turrets. Chovy's chilling on the bottom lane. Keen's like, come at me. A big commitment there might be all Gen.G need to get further advantages on the map. He's just going to back away, though. Because there's like Gen.G's kind of gotten, they're like gated right now in terms of what more they can get in side lanes. They're like, well, I got all the turrets and like, I guess we kind of back and chill and we'll wait for an objective. Dragons in 3?
Ah, yes, Chemtech Soul for my Ziggs. Yeah.
All you have to do now as Gen.G is hold on to your lead and don't overextend in the side. And they should be able to maintain like 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead before that next objective fight. That, like you said, they're not that fussed about anyways. Just don't take any fights that are less than ideal. This is going to be an interesting call. They are going to just say, we can break the barrier. We're going to get another turret.
We can break that base. You can't break that base.
Well, they're trying. Ruler is here.
Yeah.
We're not in satchel range or anywhere close, though.
I mean, they can break it down bit by bit, and with the Ziggs and with this amount of a lead, I think that Gen.G actually can slowly but surely break that base.
I mean, they can get some ults out here as well, potentially. There's the Nocturne ult first.
Gonna steal the Nautilus one as well. Not really going in here is Owner, just elects not to. Gonna push them away. Maybe they get a Maiden on the back of this. No, not even that. Gen.G clean with it. And they just say, oh, it wasn't looking good for a little bit. We got some value and we back away.
Yeah, we pushed and got half a turret and 2 ults. And we just walk away. And if T1 don't respond...
That's Legend Group, baby.
Yeah, but like if T1 don't respond, they lose the turret. And if they, you know, T1 decides they're gonna, oh, we'll just side lane instead, and we'll push that bottom turret and get some money, then you could even potentially lose more, right? So it prevents T1 from making a play in this lull state. And there's no inherent cost because it's a Ziggs comp. You know, the speed at which Gen.G can get that turret and then walk right up to the inhibitor turret. If Faker's like, nah, I'm gonna do my thing over on my side, they're like, nah, I think you're coming over here because otherwise we win this race every time. And the value we're gonna get out of an inner is greater than what you could get on these outer turrets that are standing. T1 have no turrets at the moment. The top turret, the only one that's really close to being taken out. This is still a game that could be won by an overextension in sides by Gen.G, but with how cleanly they've played the lead they have now, it just doesn't feel like they have any intention of ever letting it go. And we've seen what both of these teams can do when they have that macro lead. You know, it was mentioned on the space after Game 1. Gen.G more known for those types of controlled games we saw from T1 in Game 1. And not the same exact scenario, but the same kind of lead. And Gen.G are just like, I've got a line of wards in your jungle, so I can see everything you do, so you might as well just farm under inners.
Yeah. I Yorick push you in. I Corki push you in. And I just play the entire map. The rest of the team just spread out, get vision, get control. Over what? Well, we look for picks. We try to bait out mistakes. We get a little bit of chip damage into this top turret. Looks like they should be able to get it with the Ziggs.
Yeah, because all you got to do is get into satchel range, and then you drop that satchel, and now you just take Otacon. And what angle does T1 have to approach this? Like Nocturne walking through with Nico, all of this vision. They can't get here fast enough. Who do you engage on? You got to get past Duro first. He's the bouncer. TP from Jax.
Yeah, and from Faker trying to get in as the Rift Herald summoned. They have vision now. T1 trying to push in. Duro very separated actually, kind of by himself on the left side. Gen.G abandoning the play, and they'll lose their Nautilus for it as well. T1 starting this one up. Carry is taking the Rift Herald for a little drive. Not exactly sure. Keen finally does TP into this one. And it's Otacon flip for the ages, taking quite a while. Doran going in, they're just trying to zone them away. As the engage comes in from T1, they lose 2 though, and Owner about to follow. Guma desperate to do something, but instead, he just gets autoed down by the Ziggs. And Gen.G, so much control of the play. They lose their Nautilus, they don't care. They still win it handily. And now Doran gonna spot. Okay, trying to get this one, but he's not going to get in range. And Chovy just picks up yet another kill.
Samsung Galaxy Flash right there. One of these T1 remembers, one of these T1 players remembers that World's Finals vividly. But watching this fight again, you know, like they pull the Nautilus away with the jungler. So for a second I was like, okay, well, they're gone. Maybe Gen.G to stick the Otacon because there's no smite fight, but they back away and play it slow and look for the turn with the Vi. Guma tries to look for the ult feathers there, but does not actually get Ruler. The fight's a wash.
All right, trying to make a play here onto the Corki. It looks like Chovy, with this flash, is going to use it to get away. Meanwhile, Duro is just kind of left out to dry once again. Tons of damage, though, coming out from Ruler. Meanwhile, Faker has a Vendetta against the red buff instead.
Yeah, this was a cool idea. And a cool dodge.
All right, trying to make this play. That's actually very good, Ruler. Maybe a little bit overconfident here. He is going to be traded out. And that shutdown goes to the Xayah. Meanwhile, Owner is going to be zone 4, and Doran is just in the front line. Yeah, I think Gen.G are handling this just fine.
Yeah, it looked a little scary for Keen there for a second.
So wonky, Wolf.
But at the end of the day, you know, Doran was like really trying to maximize his Counter-Strike value there, but was shut down. Shutdown gold given over a little bit here. But at this point, it's less about the gold to me than the map control. When you look at some of these champions, and you're like, oh, okay, Ruler has a 600 gold that he's got an Oblivion Orb. You know, that's not really what this is about. It's about, like, can T1 ever fight into this Ziggs Corki? The Corki's safe. The Ziggs relatively safe. You can see what happens when you engage onto this Corki. Like, how much space he can buy. And then you're kind of like, ooh, we lost a lot of health on this one. And if Gen.G rotate over, you don't win this longer fight. And I think that was Faker just making the decision, if I go in there,
he probably just dies.
Yeah, so he decides to not make that choice. And that's my assumption, and that's my caster's blessing to him as to why he made that choice. But Ruler goes incredibly low, but there's just too much damage here in general for Gen.G. And then this is where I got scared for Keen. I was like, Gen.G looks like they're backing out, but nope, just going to turn on to Doran. And it's very simple. And they still had the Vi ult. That late Vi ult in these fights has just been kind of the cherry on top for Gen.G so many of these times.
Yeah.
Ziggs is looking to demolish another turret.
Yeah, might as well. Don't even need the Baron. Just push a little bit as, a little flank angle coming on in. They're trying to get onto the Ziggs. Can they burst them down? Absolutely not. Not with the disengage cone. As Carrier going to go down. Faker as well is going to bite the dust. There's a big bomb over the top here. Doran taken out, and it looks like Gen.G, they just have way too much momentum in this game.
Yeah, and Guma, can he get out here? Duro does not have flash.
Ult available.
Either. I think he's fine, but that's the 6th and final turret outside of the base of T1. Baron hasn't even spawned yet, and Keen is teleporting in to look for the inhibitor break. And there's just no one here, no one alive to stop the onslaught that is Gen.G.
Yeah. Just feels like Gen.G, when they don't let T1 get like the Giga T1 draft, they're just the better team. I mean, at least tonight, you know, it was a little bit of a different case at the homestand.
Look at this for Faker too. Like, how much more perfect of a flank angle could you want? And then disengage going.
Wonderful.
And yeah.
Nice dodge there from Keen.
Maybe
he's so tanky. I mean, they're trying everything. Like, they're pulling out some books that they haven't read in like 10 years. They're like, is this Gambit gonna work?
I mean, it's just like the previous game for T1 where you kind of have to resort to tricks at this point. You can't actually just play straight up. This is the difference. I mean, when you look at, these are the top 2 teams in Legend right now. Not in the standings. Hanwha still has a lead over T1 versus the previous series where we had our bottom 2 teams from Rise. And the difference is that in the top level of Legend in the LCK, if you get a small lead, it's a one-sided game like every time, right? We saw 3 incredibly one-sided games. Like, sure, there was a lead for Guma in game 2 on that Lucian, but I mean, that was a very, very early game lead. And then now Gen.G with the lead they have here, it's just, you can't even approach a Baron. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
Toby's 4K and he's 7 kills on this Corki that was flexed to mid. The blind Silas is not working for Faker.
Yeah, it was an interesting idea. You know, comp-wise, it kind of made sense, but immediately Gen.G had the answer as they saw the damage on that Baron for just a little bit. And now we have the counter engage here from Carrier, only going to find the front 2, and they're full health still as the big bomb right in the back line going to take them both down. And even the Xayah was in there as well. This game is over. Gen.G just deciding when they want to end it.
Very, very fast game here. When you consider the level of play these 2 teams have, you don't expect games to end 26.5 minutes, but that is what is going to happen. Another one-sided one, and Gen.G in another full series Not game 5, but in this case, game 3. This time we'll come out victorious and get revenge for that previous loss to T1.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit rough after game 1. That was very one-sided, but it wasn't meant to be. The series will be remembered, rather, as a Gen.G victory, and as a very dominant one at that. You know, I feel like when we go back and we watch game 2, game 3, it was Gen.G all the way.